success of Be the Influence. Tell us, how did it start?
It started back around in 2012 when the school and police department was working together and trying to address issues. We came to the realization that we're multiple agencies and community groups and organizations are dealing with the same issues independently. So we felt that there has to be a better way where we could come together and work together in order to address any issues that we're seeing.
This is way back in 2012?
2012.
Mm-hmm.
So we formed an alliance with Opportunity Alliance to get a seed grant in order to get started, which helped us to develop a branding or a logo, and we incorporated the school in that, where a high school student ended up developing the logo, but that was chosen from a group of art students in the high school, and then we all chose a logo that we felt best fit our needs in the message we're trying to deliver, which is to be the influence and that everyone's decisions matter.
Yeah. So this is a community-based effort.
Community-based between Windham and Raymond, with support and buy-in from the council, from both Windham and Raymond, as well as the school board from the RSU 14, and community organizations, businesses, religious groups, and the schools themselves.
So anybody's a prospect, really.
Anybody's a
Anyone in the
prospect.
community who really wants to get involved and help to keep our youth off drugs.
Correct. And to make positive decisions, because everybody's a role model in mentoring in some way with some youth, in whether it be in their neighborhood, their homes, their businesses, everyone.
So parents are really key in this particular effort.
Parents have the most influence, but also their parents' friends and their friends. If there's barbecues or gatherings, everything that kids are seeing the adults do, that could have a positive influence or a negative influence. But we're hoping to send the message to have a positive influence on the youth.
I think you've been doing some great things. So 2012, you kind of started with this group. You got a seed grant. Where did it go from there?
From there, after the seed grant, that was good for a year. We got together and to try to figure out what else could we do that would have more of a positive impact in the community. And Opportunity Alliance told us that there's a drug-free community grant that's available, but we'd have to have the support from both communities in order to do that. So we got the community support from the councils and town managers from Windham and Raymond, and got together and decided that this was going to be an effort that we were going to pursue, and we applied for the grant, and we were given that 5-year grant.
Yeah, and I believe we'll go on to 10 if we're doing all the right things, which we are.
Right,
so
we'll reapply
let's just say
for
10 years.
For 6 years, 6 through 10. Yes.
And the real key to that grant is just making sure that the community becomes sustainable and really understanding all the different sectors, making sure that youth stay off drugs and that they're educated and making good decisions. So
Correct.
that we walk away and you guys are sustainable to do it on your own.
Correct.
Yeah. So it started in 2015, the DFC grant.
Correct. Yep.
And what are some of the things that have gone on since then?
There's been youth mentoring programs within the high school. There's been a lot of community outreach programs that have started, involvement at community events like concerts in the park at Dundee Park, putting up signage at local parks like Beth Lippman Park and Windham, as well as some signs as far as making zones, drug-free zones in Raymond. So it's been definitely a community effort between the two communities.
Yeah, would you say youth engagement is a really important part of this?
Youth engagement is really the foundation of it, because the youth of today are going to be the adults of tomorrow. So if we can instill in them positive behaviors and decision making today, they'll be the ones that will influence the youth of tomorrow.
And that's been a huge addition. That's been a huge piece of the school, both the high school and the middle school. That youth engagement part has really just blossomed in the last 2 to 3 years of the grant. And we've got kids that now every day want to know more and more about what Be the Influence is. What's this group? How do we get involved? And once you explain to them what we do is with our youth action committees, they really the interest peaks, and more students want to get involved, and that's kind of helps spread the message.
Phil, you've been a fantastic force for us in the high school itself and within the district as well. You do so much for Be the Influence. Tell us a little bit about the school system then, and and the youth groups within the school, and how does that work? What do they do?
Our youth groups in the high school have done a lot of work in collaboration with the middle school health classes. So they've really created lessons that they've gone and taught to the middle school health classes. They've also done outreach to our high school health classes. Be the Influence has worked with our teachers to help develop curriculum, make sure that the statistics and the information is up to date, give them a lot of resources for them to access accurate information that's relative to our community with the My House data.
What is the MIAS?
The Maine Integrated Youth Health Survey.
Very good.
All right, phew. So that data that we generally do every 2 years, we collect that data about our students within our school, and gives us great feedback as to whether programs are showing, getting traction and showing some improvement, and gives us target areas for us to really address. So whether it be tobacco, marijuana, opiates, whatever it may be. So.
And do you feel like the peer-to-peer education has really helped both sides, those who are teaching and then those who are receiving?
Absolutely. We have a lot of incoming freshmen who come to us and say when they join BTI or just in conversation, they really enjoyed hearing from high school kids and knowing what high school is all about, some of the pressures that kids face in high school, and it kind of puts them at ease when they get here. So it's been a really, it means more to them when they hear from a kid that's on the athletic field. They know that person as a 6th, 7th, 8th grader, and they see the person, but they haven't really talked to the person. So now they get an opportunity for that person to come to their class, talk to them about what high school life's like, talk about substances and how it could affect their bodies. And we all know that the stuff's out there, and it's starting earlier and earlier with our youth.
And you're doing a great job getting information out to the parents and just the whole community. There's a newsletter where we have tips in there, and between the students themselves. And tell me a little bit more about just educating the general public and parents on the importance of all these substances and how dangerous they are.
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate, and our principals send out newsletters monthly, and they allow us to put information in that, so we can send some information about upcoming meetings or just general information about, like, for example, vaping products has been a big issue in the last year and a half or so. So a lot of parents, in my conversations with them, when I find a child with those, they don't even know what they are. So we've been trying to educate them as much as possible so that they know what to look for with their son or daughter.
Well, and I'm in prevention, and I see it every single day, but I'm always astounded when I come to school and you tell me what's going on, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk really briefly about that? Like, what are you seeing? What are the trends you're seeing in high school nowadays?
The big trend in this past year was definitely vaping. That was the big piece, and it tended to be the product that they used the most was the Juul, which was pretty small. It's looks like a thumb drive for a USB. They have a charger that goes in kids' computers, so parents didn't even know what they were. So when I would explain it to them and talk to them about it and send them some literature on what it was, they're like, oh, I've seen that in my son or daughter's computer, because we have devices in the school. Every kid has a one-to-one computer, so it's been a challenge.
And I think the challenge is society as a whole doesn't know how dangerous that is.
Right.
Like one Juul has as much nicotine as 2 packs of cigarettes, basically.
Yeah.
So it's the tobacco industry all over again. And
it's viewed as a healthy alternative to smoking.
Yes,
which
exactly.
We
Smoking
all know
without guilt.
it's not the case.
Yeah,
So.
it's
It's glamorized on YouTube with different things that kids see, and so it's out there, and kids see it. They want to experiment with it, and they don't know the harmful and how addictive it is, and in the long term, we don't really know the long-term effects yet. So
there's a lot of education to be done, and I don't think parents or the general public realize how prevalent it is in the schools. When we look at the MIAS data, and it might tell us that maybe 56% of kids are using alcohol, 54% are using marijuana, but they never say, we think there's more than that.
Right.
I mean, that's what you're seeing. Is we've done these youth focus groups, and they're telling us that there's a lot more use than what is reported.
Yeah, there certainly is, and I think there's a lot of other stuff too. Besides, juuling was the tobacco products, and vaping was the big issue. Marijuana is always an issue with youth. I've hear more and more about other prescription drugs that are now being used more and more. Mental health, we're in crisis in a lot of ways with that. And kids, whether it's anxiety or depression, have access to these, and it's important for parents to monitor those prescriptions to make sure they're not being abused.
And with marijuana legalization, I could ask for both of you. It's made access, fivefold, and it's going to be a whole lot more difficult to educate and to control. Would you say?
That, along with the perception of marijuana for the youth, and the perception is that it isn't bad for them, when research has shown that up until the age of 25, the brain's still developing, and the THC in the marijuana is having a negative effect on the brain development. That's a big part, is the youth is getting conflicting messaging. The detriment and negative effects it's having on their development, or the other side that they're getting, the conflicting messaging, is that it can be used to help you. So that's what the struggle is that conflicting messaging, which is why when we first started, we wanted to form a strong partnership and relationship with the school in order to get consistent messaging out throughout the whole community. And since that, we've increased and improved our strong working relationship with the school, and it continues to improve to try to continue, like Phil said, as far as making sure that the health teachers have the most accurate and up-to-date information, make sure their curriculum is consistent between all the schools, and get the messaging out. So if every avenue that we can use to get the same messaging out, they're going to get that consistent messaging, just not from the media, but also from people that they look up to.
Absolutely. And you guys are doing a great job with that. I think the schools and law enforcement are really saying it like it is. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry that is very, very difficult to combat. And so society and community has to know that this is not an innocent drug, and it is affecting youth in very detrimental ways. The THC levels are through the roofs too. It's not the Woodstock weed that we all remember from before. And then trying to control it from a law enforcement perspective. So we have lots of stuff on our docket to work on. And I really appreciate all that you two do in the community. It's just
thank you.
Amazing amounts of things that you're doing to help children stay off drugs. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Well, I know for us, just as working in the high school as an assistant principal, we have a great relationship with the Wyndham Police Department, and that really has been a seamless effort, and it allows us to really work to combat as a community what we see. So, because they may deal with the parents of somebody who's dealing with substances, and we may not. We have the student during the day, and so having an SRO like Officer Fournier here has been great to help bridge the gap with us and allow us to work together to deal with families in crisis collaboratively, and so it's really made a huge effort.
And you said families in crisis. You're doing some work with ACEs. There's kind of new on the horizon, but it's adverse childhood experiences and the correlation between that and substance misuse.
Absolutely.
And from what we understand, maybe the district is looking at it a little bit more seriously, and what we can do to make that integrated into the school. So, bravo, you guys are fantastic partners. I've worked in many communities, and not everybody wants to really make things happen. So, Be the Influence can't thank you enough, and you are Be the Influence, so thank yourselves.
All right, well, thank you. Great.
Thanks.